Okay, guess what? We're here, folks. We're live. We're live here on Oregon Voters Digest. I'm Bruce Broussard. As you can see, we had a little Halloween intro kind of a deal. The music sounded pretty good, you know. I did mine yesterday with the kids.
Okay.
Yeah, we did a kind of a love deal, you know. We just got together with family, whatever, and so we passed out tacos.
Yeah, I'm gonna do mine tonight with the adults.
Yeah, we gonna go. So Tuesday we'll do the candy thing. Get our aspect of it. You got me? But anyway, hey, look, folks. Well, look, we're gonna have quite a show today, and then this is gonna be kind of an ongoing kind of a deal, at least once a month. Probably got one of the biggest issues here in the Portland metropolitan area. We're talking about the homeless crisis, if you will, and everybody's talking about it, and rightfully so. Let's put it this way, because we're all looking for a safe conditions. We want to make a living, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and caring and the like. So what we're going to do is that we're going to kind of focus some of the politics, because you got City Hall and you've got the county here in this area. That's one of the reasons why I got Joe Walsh here sitting up here. And the only thing he has is 3 minutes to be able to communicate at each one of those entities. He needs more than 3 minutes to share his thought. And he has
can't say hello in 3 minutes.
I can barely do that. I can even introduce you in 3 minutes. You got me? And then we've got Lisa Faye here and Ibrahim Mubarak.
Yeah.
I don't know if you recognize these folks, but guess what? They started the whole idea of talking to the whole issue of homelessness way back when, if you will. And it was a thing called Dignity Village. I remember that's downtown, big time. You got me?
Of course.
And so, you know, that's really where it all started, and the solutions was going in that particular direction. And what I remembered right off the bat, the thing that really got me was when the name Homer Williams, when they started talking about all about housing and this, that, and the other. And Homer kind of had I thought he had probably the best idea, if you will, so to speak, to put it on the table. But he had Dignity Village. He was identifying Dignity Village, and okay, fine, let's maybe develop that, if you will, into a larger facility, blah blah blah, whatever that was. But then all of a sudden, he was thrown off the table, and now we got a whole new program. I've never seen so many nonprofits in all my life. People jumped up in nonprofit overnight, and now all of a sudden they are the ones. And you know what I'm saying? Nonprofit. That means, because I want someone to benefit.
Well, that's the way capitalism works. They find a commodity and they expose it and they make what they can off of it while they can, and then when they can't, they get rid of it.
Right. See, good. Well, like I say, but when I say nonprofit as opposed to profit, Homer, sure, he was going to profit a bit, but he had to maintain the concept that he had. The other way, you just lose everything all the way about. Anyway, we'll get into that. So look here. If you notice, we're kind of in a nice, loosely kind of a way. We want to talk about homelessness, but the first thing we want to do, we want to kind of talk to is when it really got on the table. And I think my first point was Bud Clark. Remember when Bud Clark was involved on the table?
Yeah.
And he left a legacy, if you will, of commons, if you will. But Bud is not there anymore. You know, we got a whole new group. We got Ted Wheeler. That was Joe's buddy.
Ted Wheeler.
Yeah, I didn't think anybody could be worse than Hales, but I was wrong.
Okay.
Did you know that Ted Wheeler was a Republican?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I
He
knew
was.
that. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He was. What is
When he
now?
decided to run for office, he changed his
Yes.
title to Democrat.
But it's a nonpartisan race.
But he's
see.
a Republican.
Yeah, oh, very much so.
Everything he does.
Oh, very much so.
It makes sense watching him if you say the man is a Republican.
Yeah.
Because he acts like a Republican, talks like a Republican, throws me out like a Republican.
Well, we're going to deal with him as a Republican. The money. He's got the money.
He got the money.
He got the money. He's the mayor of the city.
$258 million.
$258 million
we gave him.
to deal with this issue, right?
And he
You
didn't
got it?
bother going to the meetings.
Oh, yes. So, look, we're going to talk about homeless today. Okay, fine.
I wasn't invited either. Were you invited? I
no.
don't think so.
Well, you were. That's what I'm saying. That's why we're doing this show, because and thanks to Steve Dunn, he brought it out there, Channel 2. It was a town hall kind of a meeting, and I saw the people that were on the diocese and whatever, and really there was no one really representing the homeless from this perspective. You got my point? I'm not trying to knock the folks who are there sitting at the table, but we're looking for solutions in this city, in this state, in this country for that matter. But we're focusing on Portland, Multnomah County area aspect of it. And so, boom, this is the diocese we're going to have. So that's why I'm saying we're going to have these series on an ongoing basis, at least, because it's going to be around for a day or two. But hopefully we're going to try to share with them, because they will be able to look at the show, because this is live on YouTube right now, and they can look at it and the repeat aspect of it, and maybe they can get some ideas. And so when Steve has his other town hall, maybe some things may change. Maybe Lisa Fay here, Lisa and Mubarak will be on the table, and maybe Joe, you
God
might be
forbid.
sitting up there.
Ibrahim knows more about the housing question than the entire city council.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay, if you put them all together, this man knows more.
Yep.
And yet, how many of these committees are you sitting on now?
None.
None.
Isn't that amazing?
Well, he wasn't there. He wasn't there in the town hall. And like I say, Steve was doing his thing. Whatever, no problem. We got our deal right here now.
But why do we keep doing the same thing over and over? They get a committee together with professionals.
Right.
Okay? And not to knock the professionals. I mean, I have a degree in psychology, so I have some, feeling for
Yeah.
but that's not the realm they should be in.
Yeah.
Ibrahim should be there. Faye should be there. They know more about getting people off the street
Yep.
than Ted Wheeler will ever know.
Well, you need to know who's
Or
on the street
Cox,
before you can start
or
talking about
anybody
taking
else
them
in
off.
his office.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So let's fact, since you brought that issue up, why is it that you weren't on the committee? Well, first off, I can tell you right up there, putting my other hat on,
Okay.
I mean, I used to be a Republican piece, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
Until they finally figured out who I
You're
was.
Ted Wheeler.
See, until I figured out who I was.
Yeah.
See? And on all due respect, this city is probably one of the most racist city in the country, for that matter. And the whole issue of blacks is an issue. Yeah, that's a fact. It's an issue. We're working on it, but it's an issue. And the fact that that's on your deal. The fact that you're wearing, and when I look at you in your attire,
I'm very handsome,
You're very handsome guy. But all of a sudden it's the Muslim thing. You know what I mean? It's the Muslim thing.
Okay.
And you're black, if you will.
Yeah.
You got me. And in all due respect, and then if you hit the button. And they say, well, let's see, it's just like myself. Well, we caught Bruce chewing gum and he threw it on somebody's seal or something. So I got a record.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, if you it's like anything else. You do the crime, you do the time. Unfortunately, it doesn't erase itself. You know what I'm saying? They just record it, and then a lot of times the people can use that, if you will, to discount you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start thinking about those kinds of things, that's what people do. That's what we do, if you will. Unfortunately, as for someone, when I think about folks who have gone through those kinds of situations, I mean, there are lawyers, reputable lawyers today. There are all kinds of reputable folks. They're white collar crimes and this, that, and the other. And you got a lot of these folks that are surviving every day. Blah blah blah. But when you got the kind of issue we're talking about, and the kind of 200, how many million, sitting at the table?
The bond
Yeah,
that
the
we
bond.
gave them was
Yeah.
258.4
Million.
0.4 is $400,000.
That's right.
That's
We
a
get-
lot
so
of money.
That's a lot of money.
Point
And
four.
At least to me,
Right.
that's a lot.
And in our
They said point-
so in our capitalistic society, in all due respect, when I remember when he started this piece, he and Lisa and whatever, getting this piece together, there was no $258.4 million on the table.
Can you imagine
It was
if
just
they gave you that?
it was just folks that were sitting there trying to
wish they would
survive
give me
and,
that.
and thinking about friends and other
Yeah.
folks and whatever's trying to survive. And when that money hit that table, then it was a whole different ball game.
That's separate from the money that the county put up
Oh yeah.
and the city put up
Oh, yeah.
to do the joint office.
Exactly.
It's about $60 million.
Exactly.
And they got a lot of money in that pot.
Exactly.
Mark
Joe.
Jolin,
Yes.
Jolin,
Yes.
he's
Mark
got a
Jones.
lot of money.
Right. But the bottom line is, really,
And he gets paid $100,000 a year.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Non-profit.
We call them poverty pimps.
Yeah. Okay.
When you make $100,000 a year off the backs of the poverty people,
Yes.
you're a poverty pimp.
Yes.
I don't care how
I hear
good
that.
you
I
are.
hear that. And he is kind of like the head person on that end of it.
That's right.
And then that's the city. 'Cause
And
the city
Deborah
runs that.
Kafori
The
gets
city,
really
the
mad
city
at me when I
controls.
say that.
Yeah, but realistically, the point person should have been the county, because when you start thinking about the county, mental illness is huge, and they definitely need housing, if you will. We used to have damage at one point in time up in Beaverton and Wake Oswego. There was a facility where mental illness was there, and then the developers came in and said they tore that down, and now the mental illness is on the streets, if you will. You got me? So that's another piece that we can talk about. But mental illness is huge, if you will. Housing is definitely an issue, and drug addiction, but that's all really at the county. So when you think about the city, the majority of their efforts are in development of housing, if you will. Different ball game, right? Fair? Got me? So So let's get back to where we started. Now, let's go back to Dignity Village. First off,
Okay.
you guys introduce yourselves and talk a little bit about Dignity Village from a historical standpoint.
From a historical
How'd it start?
standpoint, it was a group of us with the Homeless Liberation Front, along with Street Roots and their vendors. We was tired of being kicked around and moved around and discriminated and disregarded as humans because we were without a house. So we wanted to combine our education, experience, and knowledge together to create a safe haven for the people that was tired of living on the streets, that was forced to live on the street because of a circumstance. We used to call ourselves POC, people of circumstances.
What year was that about?
That was in 98.
98.
98. That was
2000.
1998. And then we formed, it was like 6 or 7 of us that formed a little group where the Homeless Liberation Front was going to be sort of like the people that go out there and do the advertising and stuff. And so we wanted what we wanted to call our stationary spot. We wanted to have, you know, with dignity and pride.
Okay.
So we called it Camp Dignity. And each time, as today, the police would tell us we couldn't be here because of camping ban. So by coming back from Africa and a little small village and stuff that I stayed at, they asked me, what should they do? How should we do this? And so we looked at the zoning, the coding, the bans, the laws and everything. And we said, they don't have a village ban. So we called it Dignity Village, you know? And that's when the politicians, the powers to be, the social service providers and everybody, the police and forest rangers and security guards and business people start thinking and realizing that we wasn't what they educate people to believe houseless people are, and that's dummies, that's drug addicts and lazy. We had good sense and intention. We knew how to map out things. We knew how to become productive our way, not the way they dictated. You're gonna have to go through this hoop. You're gonna have to do that. Why should I go through this class when that don't pertain to me? Why should I have to do this when I can have a college education? How you gonna retrain me how to fill out an application or do a resume? I mean, that's good for some people who never took those, who never reached that high plateau in their education. But what about the people who have? You can't put everybody under one cone and say you're all the same.
Okay.
You can't even do that with the same ethnicity and say we're all the same. So, and that's where they misjudge people. The new type of houseless people that's coming to the street, it wasn't a stereotype what they taught us in school and taught us in the houses what we were. We were people that had broken down on our chances due to the high rise of affordability and the less of employment wages.
Okay, you mind? Now, who was the mayor at that point in time? Who was the mayor?
Mayor Katz. I love
Mayor Vera Katz.
Mayor Vera Katz.
Mayor Vera Katz.
If you can go to one of the old films when we was being swept, I think it was the MLK March when we was going to our site on 17th and God doggy. On the southwest side, northwest side,
So she was-
17th and Xavier. I'm sorry, that I had a sign, a big sign. I love Vera Katz.
Yes.
Because she was open and she was starting to listen to us with reason and try to reason with us and try to get us to come to some common agreement on what to do with this houseless epidemic that was starting to hit.
So
Portland.
she assimilated you guys at the table, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Zeta was there during that time. That's your counterpart. Remember Zeta?
Yes.
Remember Zeta?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have that silver dollar she gave me.
And so I remember Eric Stan and Marshall Ronco,
Okay.
and they helped steer us and educated us and let us know some of the legalities of the
Okay.
things, what we could and couldn't do. And the more that we were swept, the more people joined us. At one time, it was about 250 members of Dignity Village.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
and
I
we
remember
was
that.
governing ourselves, and people
Okay,
was becoming
okay.
productive because we was networking,
Okay.
we was building community, people was talking and laughing, they was feeling free, they wasn't being moved, they was sleeping, they was staying with their partners, they was able to keep their dogs and most of all, be able to stay clean and keep their stuff stored so they can go out and look for work. And if it was a bad day in the environment, they had a safe place to sleep without being bothered.
Now you had a piece of real estate there on Burnside. What was that? What was that street? Burnside, right on that corner there.
Fourth and Burnside.
Fourth and Burnside, right?
That's right to dream too.
That was a right to dream aspect.
Yeah,
To the aspect there.
yeah.
But where was your first piece, and how did you negotiate
At
that?
Right to Dream too, or for Dignity Village?
Okay, but that piece of real estate, how was that negotiated? Naturally, someone owned it. How were you able to sit there and reside there? What happened?
Joe Walsh sent
Joe's
out some smoke signals.
Joe smiled. You
Said,
smiled,
"Give
Joe.
that land
Joe,
to that
you
guy."
familiar with it? You familiar with it, Joe?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's kind of silly to have me explain to me.
But
But
you
you
are-
already-
but now you're at the table, though. You at the table?
You wanna explain it? You wanna
Lisa,
explain it,
yeah,
Lisa?
go on,
I can
Lisa.
explain
Go on,
it.
Lisa.
Okay, go ahead.
Go on, Lisa. Lisa
Because
first.
it bothered her the most.
Because there were women issues too at the time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yes.
The way Right to Dream 2 came about, the landowner for the parcel on 4th and Burnside, Michael Wright and his partner Dan Cassette, were told that they couldn't do anything with the property. They had a business there. That business, the city shut down. Then they tried food carts. The city said they couldn't have those there. So, in an interview, Michael Wright said, "Well, I'll turn the piece of land over for the houseless community. I'll
Wow.
get that guy that did Dignity Village, Ibrahim Mubarak." So, some of our friends caught wind of the interview and contacted Ibrahim. Ibrahim contacted Michael Wright. He sat down, negotiated with Right to Survive, and we created a $1 a year lease
Wow.
for 5 years.
Wow.
And he said, as long as you're not costing us money, then you can put tents, you could put any type of building you want that is non-permanent. And Right to Dream 2 took off from there.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, let's go to one. I got to go back to one since you went to two real quick. Right? where were you at two? One.
Well, it was always Right to Dream 2, R2D2, and we came up with that because that meaning that houseless people are sleeping. I mean, they have a right to dream.
But that's the
too.
first one?
It should be right to dream also, but we wanted to.
So that was the
Star
first one.
Wars
That wasn't
thing.
the first one.
No, it was always Right to Dream too.
Okay.
The
On
Village
4th
was
and
the
Burnside.
first one.
4th and
but it was
Burnside, right.
always Right to
Right,
Dream
4th and
too.
Burnside.
That was that's
Okay.
just the catchy
And Vera
name.
was, and that Vera was part of the negotiation. Had to have been, so to
Not
speak.
with
No.
Right to Dream 2 with Dignity Village.
With Dignity Village.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
But Right to Dream 2,
Came 20 years later.
20 years later.
Well,
Okay.
15 years
Right,
later.
right, right. That was all in it.
15
Okay.
years
So
later.
who's at the table now with two? Who's the mayor at the time?
I think it was
It was
Sam.
Sam Adams.
Was it
Sam
Sam Adams?
Adams.
Was Sam Adams at the time? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how
that
did
was doing Occupy.
Occupy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now, how did that go along? I mean, how was that accepted, if you will, by his mayorship?
Well,
But he's kind of like an offshoot of Vera anyway.
we was planning this for about 3 months before we put a single tent down, and it just so happened when you're doing something and you know it's right, when a lot of people is doing something simultaneously, and so Occupy was big at that time, and so everybody was at Occupy and
Occupy,
Occupy,
okay.
and we didn't notice, but we used them as a smoke screen.
Okay.
And we thank the people and the organizer and the people who partook in
Part of the deal.
Occupy.
Okay,
Yeah, we thank everybody for that, because that's when everybody was shouting out, "This is not happening. This is going to happen." And they was predicting what's happening to this country now. But it was no one shouting out for the houseless community, and there was Right to Survive. And so we was doing that by doing a direct action. That's what Right to Survive do best. And on that corner of 4th and Northwest Burnside was one of our direct action. But everybody was paying attention to Occupy.
Well,
That's where all the cops were.
Yeah.
And then the other thing,
And so as we was getting established and people
Right.
was coming there and we was building, after the smoke screen was up, everybody saw, wow, what's this?
Yeah.
Is this Occupy? We said, no, this is Right to Dream 2. It's a rest there for homeless people to come sleep, get up to 8 to 12 hours uninterrupted, clean, safe.
That's the key. That's the
sleep.
thing. That's the thing I was
Yeah.
going to share with. Now,
Yeah.
that was clean. Now that was the direction, so to speak.
Yes.
You would think that should have been at the table. It was sitting right there up front,
Right.
and you could not miss it, if you will. And it wasn't raggedy. It wasn't all over the place. There wasn't garbage all around the place or whatever. That was a good start. What happened? All of a sudden you had this influx of everybody's running around the place.
Yeah. Well, what happened, we had good leaders such as Lisa Faye, Trim Shannon, Leo Rose, Brad, I forgot Brad's last name, Michael Callahan, Mike D, who else was with us? Sophia Kenneret. We had Terry Light. We had a good group of people.
Yeah, good start.
Actually, Good start.
Good start.
Good starts, which we was addressing all the areas in houselessness, and it was no one leader. We all was equal.
Okay.
But if we had an idea, that person with that idea led that idea, and everybody supported that idea.
Right.
And that's the way we was building up and educating the people. And so we wanted to educate the houseless community on their constitutional, human, and civil rights, because then if the houseless people come as a mass mobilization and was on one, speaking the same word of their constitutional, human, and civil rights, what more can we do as having a big demonstration, a protest, or whatever means you want to call it, a dissatisfaction with the way the government was treating the people here in this
Well, the way I'm going with this piece is that Vera was there. She was receptive. She was working with this situation.
Yes.
And actually, and Adams was working for her. Remember, he was the chief of staff for her. Then he got elected, if you will, to mayorship aspect of it. So indirectly, she was still part of the process. Okay?
But Adams was like, not on my mayorship. You won't do this.
I think the important thing with Right to Dream too is that under his leadership, they were fined for being a campsite.
A recreational
campsite because they didn't have any way to categorize what we were doing at Right to Dream.
I see.
So we had to file a lawsuit with the city. We sued the city.
Under Adams, under the Adams mayorship.
And we won.
Okay.
And we did it with houseless people and the help of I think he's the best lawyer in this state, probably in this country, and I'm biased because he helped us, was Mark Kramer.
Mark Kramer?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so then what happened? I'm not trying to rush it in.
And Greg Mugalis.
Okay, then you were able to continue then? Were you able to continue then from that point on like you were trying to do?
Well, from that point, they knew we was an organization to be reckoned with. They knew we wasn't just no pushover people who you always got to know your competition. You always got to know the people who you're fighting against, and you got to know finer details, what most people don't know. And what they didn't consider was that the houseless people is the big melting pot. You get everybody in there. You get former scholars, you get former sports players, you get former police, former drug dealers, former gang bangers. You get former everybody. And we know some things. I mean, we was something before we hit the streets, and that's what people don't realize, that they don't look at who were we before we became houseless, they just look at our present social status and pin something on us and say, oh, that's them. But you don't go and talk with these people. You don't go out and figure out where they come from. You don't go and cry with them and drink with them and party with them and laugh with them and eat with them and sleep. You don't do none of that, but you just see them in a bad situation and you put that tag on them. Those are bad people.
Okay, okay.
But really, we're not.
Okay. Well, see, but at the same time, I'm looking at it from the standpoint. Now you have all these other different organizations. Sisters of the Roses, your Central City Concerns, and they had their, all those entities were there. But you were kind of the model, if you will, from a futuristic standpoint. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the cleanliness and this, that, and the other, and picking up your stuff and stuff like that. So all of a sudden, you had this, as if to say, they were just sort of let loose and say, okay, fine. Well, gee, I don't want to go that way. We're not going to push it that way. Well, we want to do it this way over here. And you got all these people now on the streets. I mean, you got crime.
They were all scattered.
They were all. How do we get there?
Here's
What
part
happened?
of the problem. You can blame Dignity Village. You can blame Right to Dream 2. You can blame Hazelnut Grove. But none of those villages or tiny house communities or tented communities attracted the masses to come to Portland. The houseless people were in Portland already. And with no cause evictions, raises in rent increases, people losing their vouchers, loss of income, people were ending up on the street. It wasn't, oh, it's a great opportunity. I'll just give up all my luxuries and comforts and go live in the street because there's these three entities. No. Some of the reasons I listed, and there's many more, people have ended up on the street. And there's not enough Right to Dream 2s. There's not enough Dignity Villages. There's not enough Kentons. There's not enough Belmont Commons.
Well, Lisa, why did they not continue to build on that part? They started it. Well, I mean, why in the hell didn't they continue?
The issue is that the city will not permit it. The city's not making money off of these villages or these tiny house communities. If they're not making money and they're not seeing it as a profit-making venture, even though nonprofits have been running them successfully, and they've been becoming their own nonprofits, it's like in a way, it's like a thumb in the eye to the city and the county that, oh, wait a minute, people are coming up with solutions. They're creating ways of building community and supporting one another and getting back into being productive. Well, that cuts us out. And that cuts out our profit.
If you look at what Joe talked about, all the money that we gave them to solve our homelessness, and you look at how much does it cost to run a traditional shelter and how much does it cost to run a tiny house village. Ours is averaging $2,200 a month. That's included liability insurance, the electric, the computers, the water, the dump, the garbage dumps, and cleaning in the laundry facility. And that was averaging over 100 people a day coming into our facility. Now, if we take that money that Joe talked about and gave it to each entity, what more can we do to help people get productive? I don't make a big salary. I'm struggling. I'm struggling. I'm struggling. I may be getting a voucher. They watching me. I may be getting a voucher. They're not. No.
You got to be making. Oh, come on, man. Come on. You're making $100,000 a year.
I'm probably making $100 a month. What you talking about?
Well, look.
And so with these people they don't want to lose that money. So the traditional shelter is not easily ready to let loose of the rein where people can govern themselves. Now the shelter should be just when we need help providing housing or mental issues or drug addiction or a hospital or keeping family together, like the foster care. They'll take a houseless person's child and pay another family to watch this child when that family's not. When that houseless person not saying they bad parents, it's just saying they in a bad situation. So why can't they use that money they pay foster parent to put that family into housing?
Right. Well, see, the point, and this is where I was going with this piece. Remember, we started off from the standpoint of saying the Housing Authority of Portland.
Yes.
The Housing Authority of Portland was before you guys.
Way before.
And i.e. those the clients that you were dealing with were being dealt with at the Housing Authority of Portland. They come in and line up, to get into low-income housing aspect of it. And they had a process. They learned that process. You may get in for $100 a month, but then if you get a job and whatever, your rent go up, if you will. And then after a while, you get out and you go out and rent everything else.
Exactly.
But my point is that they didn't entertain getting you all at the table. You understand where I'm coming from? So my point is that had you guys
not want to solve the problem.
Well, then the developers come in. We're going to take a short break, but bottom line, now the developers come in, when you say low-income housing, now, hey, I'm ready to go for that piece, and you can't knock our capitalist society, because that's where it is.
They do not want to solve the issue, because if they did, they would have to lay off a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Suppose we solve this tomorrow.
They'll be in line.
We got everybody off the street. Do you know how many people we would have to lay off?
Well, they're all non-profits to get them.
Mark Joplin would be the first one to go.
That's right. I heard that.
Do you think that he wants to go before city council and argue with them?
Oh my God!
About how to
Joe,
solve
I didn't know
the
he was
problem?
making 100,000. I mean, give me. No, he's not making 100,000.
He's making more than 100,000.
Come on now, Jerry. Well, he did have a suit on the time. Well, anyway, tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a short break, folks, and we're going to be right back. And we're going to allow you to call in, by the way. We're going to put the number on the screen. But I'm going to have Joe now get into this business and give us a feel for what does he feel about what had been happening while he was going up there before
getting younger.
While he was getting younger, right. Because he took Jada's seat. No problem. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Okay, folks, I guess we're back, and we're talking about the resolution and the solutions to solving our problem here in this beautiful city of roses. The roses are wilting. We need fresh roses, if you will. And people want to walk downtown. And I'm getting at that age, Joe and I, we want to have coffee downtown, you know what I mean? And have a cup of coffee sitting up in the parks, right over there by the city council. But we can't do it right now, Joe. But I know we will after this show, right?
Yes.
You're going to solve the problem. Well, anyway, what we're going to do now is that we got Lisa here and Mubarak, but what we're going to do now, they've been telling us about the origin of the solution. The solution, we was right on. They were on track. But the bottom line, something happened. So, Joe, we're going to get Joe involved in the table because he's been going representing the people before the county and the city especially, and give us a kind of an eye view of, Joe, when you got involved with the whole issue of housing, what do you see? Talk to us. And by the way, we got let's see, 3 minutes. No, we'll give you more than 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Just speak more than you want.
Okay, finally got my 4 minutes.
15 minutes.
All right, buddy.
Right. Yeah.
A friend of mine, who is a member of Veterans for Peace.
Veterans for Peace. Okay.
We used to do demonstrations against the wars, Syria and Iraq, and
what year are we talking about?
A long
time
about
ago?
12, 13 years ago.
98, up in that area?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, okay.
And he said, you know what? We ought to get involved in some of this stuff that's going on locally. He said it'll be easy. We don't have to deal with congressmen, and we'll just deal with the local elected officials.
Okay.
It'll be a piece of cake.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Well, here I am, 13 years later. We went through the 10-year plan.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good plan. But you can legislate.
What do you mean,
and
10-year plan? What does that?
10-year plan was to solve the question of getting people off the street and into housing.
Okay.
10 years.
10 years.
We are now in the 13th year.
13 years.
We have more people
On the street now.
on the street, and we have more people that are in emergency shelters. Some people say 8%, some people say 10%. All right? But it's an increase.
Okay.
After millions of dollars have been spent. And here's the way it works. The politicians get the money, they go out and they hire somebody like CCC, and they walk away.
Mm-hmm.
And CCC just runs it.
Mm-hmm.
And they spend all the money.
CCC, what is that?
That's
Central City
Central
Concern?
Central City Concern.
Oh.
I wasn't going to
They're the
say.
big contractor that runs most of the stuff in the city,
All the federal money.
right? And the city walks away because they have other things to do. So it's a system that is designed to fail. And we keep doing it over and over again. It's insanity. Everybody knows that cliche now.
Yeah. It's,
But we can't get the politicians to stop doing it. They're addicted to
But
it.
Joe, we elect those folks. It's a
Yes.
government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
But the people are lazy.
Huh?
The people are lazy. The
which,
voters out there are lazy.
yeah.
And
So who
since
controls the
I'm
politician?
an activist, I get into trouble over this because I'm very clear on this. The people do not understand the question at hand.
Okay.
They do not understand that last year we had 8 people frozen on the street that we know of. A woman and a child
Yep.
frozen
yep,
on the
yep,
street.
yep.
If
That's
I was
insulting.
God,
Oh, my God.
you would not be here. I
Mm-hmm.
would destroy humanity. I'd be so angry.
Mm-hmm.
That's what drives me crazy at these meetings at City Hall and the county.
county.
Not so much the county. I think the county is trying.
Yeah.
City Hall doesn't give a damn about solving this problem. All they care about is the money. They give it to their buddies. They give it to the developers. They give it to people like Mark and other people like that. And the money never gets to the person on the street. Never gets there. It's eaten up by the system.
Well, the money controls the election. We understand it, right?
That's
That's pretty well,
my,
right? That's
My
basically
friend
it.
said it'll be a piece of cake. Just go to a couple of meetings. Just monitor the meetings.
Right, right, right.
So that's what we started
you
to
started
do.
doing?
We started to monitor the meetings. And then we figured out you really have to go to the committee meetings also.
Right.
And you have to go to the subcommittee meetings. They have it set up so complicated
Right.
that it would take a genius to understand what's going on. And if you watch carefully on the city council meetings, those city council members and the mayor do not have a clue of what they're voting on.
Ah.
They
Really?
are fed by their staff the information, and then they vote on it. They're like pirates. I, 5 times I. They act like pirates.
If you notice one thing about Joe, see, I know his qualifications big time. You know what his previous employment was all about?
A filibuster.
No, he realistic and very realistic. He was a shop steward.
Chief Justice, yeah.
Chief shop steward. So he
Okay.
understood he knew how to read. He
Yeah.
could read,
Yeah.
and he knows people,
Yeah.
and he's representing constituency. Fair?
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly.
The solutions are there.
Yeah, they are there. Oh
The
yeah.
money is there.
they're there.
We
Yeah.
gave them the money.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, and the solution, and the staff. I like staff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They are very smart. So why can't we solve this problem? They don't want to do it.
Well, one thing about staff, they've never been homeless. You got to remember that. So who on the city council have been homeless?
I
Whoa.
think,
And I've never. In fact, when I
think
ran,
Chloe might have been homeless. Or close.
Chloe was close.
probably came the closest.
but
Chloe
she,
came to
yeah, but she didn't
close,
go through your program.
No.
But the rest of them are millionaires.
See, she wasn't certified. She's still in line trying to get the voucher. I don't want to. I'm trying to be nice to her.
We
if you
love
will.
Chloe.
I
We
love
love
her.
you,
I think
Chloe.
she's a real neat lady, but this is just a little bit beyond
Yeah.
her. And I think the folks on the streets, if you will, in all due respect, the folks like yourselves and whatever, you supported her and you voted her. I mean,
Yes.
she
Yeah.
did that rent thing. I saw her when I
Right.
went down and looked at the deal down at the county. But then after that, she had no other background. She really didn't have the piece. And that's why I've always maintained that you really, we the people, the voters, need to really look at the resume of a person when they say they're going to run for office.
What-
We don't get we don't know about the
I
people in
voted
terms
for
of,
her.
and their background. In terms, I mean, it's more than just rent control. There are a lot of other issues that they have to deal with. And if you don't have some sense of background, guess what? You're not going to be able to survive. All you can do is, Mayor, what do I do today, tomorrow? Because I still want to keep getting that check.
Yeah.
I hate to put it that way.
Well,
Well, she did do something that no other city council person or mayor was able to do. She looked out for the renters, and she did come up with a good plan on no cost eviction and stuff. And she's not even a year yet in office.
Yeah, but
so I mean,
I'm agreeing- I'm
I
agreeing
think
with
things
you.
going to work out.
I'm agreeing with you, but put it at the table.
But put it at the table for
Right.
what you're talking
Right,
about.
right.
Is the houseless people and grassroots organizations with tenants' rights and unions and stuff. Our shout is first the houseless community move along to where, and then nothing about us without us is for us.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, how can you dictate and tell me something, this is good for me, when you don't even know about
Yeah,
me?
I
You
know.
don't even know if I like cream noodles or nothing. You
Right,
telling
right,
me
right,
and
right,
to
right,
go
right,
over there
right.
and eat that.
Right,
So
right.
you need people that's experienced
Yeah.
these horrible,
there.
treacherous
Yeah,
situation,
yeah.
or been there, or been there, done that, and still going out there to help
Yeah.
people, to be at these tables, to talk to you, no matter what their spirituality is, no matter what color they skin,
right,
no
right,
matter
right.
if a person is controversial or not. And I think that's what they don't like. It's the controversialness. They don't know how to accept people that's living on the streets or people that's dealing with in the grassroots organization, because we see the truth and we trying to combine that truth with this falsehood to see if we can have more truth built out and win where people wouldn't be on the street. Why are people on the street? That's the first question we should ask. Why is all these people on the street? Why are you gentrifying neighborhoods
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
north,
Oh, yeah.
east,
Oh, yeah.
and north, creating houselessness, and where these people go, creating bad job and work history where they can't get productive again. And people now is moving into the environment, and environmentalists is saying, oh, these houseless people is destroying our environment, when they ain't saying nothing about the industrial people that's been polluting the waters and the land for over 100 years. Why are they targeting houseless community when they making houselessness a thing of ugly? But I'm telling you now, it's going to be a way of survival for a long time after this is over with. And if you don't know how to live on the street, or you don't know no houseless people and talk to them and know what to do, you who living inside, by the time you get on the street, you're going to be lost, and your friends going to disconnect with you like you disconnected with your friends that's on the streets now.
Tell you what, we got about 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then here we go talking about solutions now.
Okay.
I think we had a golden opportunity this last election, in fact, when Wheeler was elected. There were some 15 people who ran for mayor, of all varying backgrounds. Yes, I mean, the whole 9 yards. You had homeless folk, the whole 9 yards. That would have been an opportune time to talk about the issues, because you had people who really represented folks across the board. But the bottom line is that we didn't get into a general election. He picked up 51%. I mean, the business community, the people with the money, should have allowed that to go into the general election.
Mm-hmm.
Then we would have had a nice open discussion, if you will. They could have done it in the primary, for that matter, and made sure that they had those shows, rather than just Channel 2, Channel 6, Channel 8, Channel 12, the whole 9 yards. They should have been talking about the issues that we're talking about right now.
Right.
Fair? Go ahead, talk to me.
Jefferson Smith would have been a good mayor addressing the houseless person.
But he wasn't. He should have ran again.
Somebody put something negative out about him.
Well, it wasn't
that
negative.
happened
That's what he did. I mean,
years
he
ago,
did the growth.
he did
the
it.
piece,
But
it was over with.
when are we going to say, okay, you committed a crime, you paid your dues, now you can get productive again. That's what's hurting a lot of people in the
Well, they don't do
houseless
that anymore,
community.
Joe.
I know
All
they
due
don't do that
respect, they don't do
anymore.
that. So
Yeah.
next,
So, go ahead.
talk to me.
Lisa.
Sorry about that.
In all fairness, leading up to the elections, there was a number of meetings that were held, public meetings, where houselessness was one of the agenda items. Now, true, none of the politicians
They
had
didn't
a
know what they were doing.
houseless background
That's right.
or knew anything
I
really
did, but I
other
wasn't
than what
invited.
the media portrays as
I wasn't
houseless.
invited. I wasn't invited, Lisa.
And you're right. It is the businesses and the people that hold the interest in the city that were pushing for certain candidates to
Right,
get into
right,
office.
Right.
Sarah Innered should have won also.
I think she would have done a much better job than Ted Wheeler.
But still,
But-
the moderator's the key. See, you got to have these moderators. Joe could have been a good
Exactly.
moderator.
Exactly.
You could have been a good. My point is that I can see a diocese, if you will, that would have folks like this at the table to talk about the issue, and
most-
developers,
and
and
most
Most of the
developers.
candidates for mayor
Yeah.
were excluded from the debate.
That's true. I know I was.
And who decides that?
And well, that's-
Channel 2,
that-
Channel
that's
6,
right.
Channel 8.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, and who else decides
Well-
that? The nonprofits that put these debates
right,
on.
right. Well, in all due respect, the developers were really the ones, the people with the money did.
They were probably
and don't get me
calling
wrong,
shots.
yeah, I still respect people would make money, no problem. But the fact of it is, they should realize that they're not going to. In my point, it's going to be a problem and a thorn in their side for a long time if they don't get to the table to solve this problem.
Well,
Talk to me, Joe.
You and I disagree on that because I don't think they want to solve the problem. I think this is a moneymaker.
Okay.
For who?
But guess
For the
what, though?
developers? Because they love to buy things. Mortar, steel. Let's build a building. Let's get these people jobs. All right, and we pay all the money out in mortar and steel, and then the guy or the woman that's sitting on the street saying, "Wow, you got all this money. I know you're gonna do something good." Zero. They get nothing.
But Joe, trust me, things are going to change, and the reason why it's going to change, we got millenniums now. We
Yeah.
got the baby boomers kids who are saying, "Hey, I can make just so much money, but I want my place to be, I want the area to be clean.
Yeah.
I want to eat. I want to have me a job. I mean, I want a little crime." And I tell you, I did see that one thing at the meeting. Everybody raised their hand up and said, "Hey, this is worse. It's going to get worse, sir."
Yeah. See, I like what Homer Williams and his developing firm and Don Maserati, what they trying to do. A lot of people saying they want this to do money, or they looking back on what they did in the past, like they look back on me or anybody else and see what they did in the past and say, oh, they want money. But if they did want money, if they didn't want money, it was something that was going to help the houseless community that should have passed, that should have went. The reason why a lot it didn't pass was once they wanted a direct action organization like Right to Survive to run an intake and talk with the people like they did at Right to Dream 2 Hazelnut Grove to see who would get productive and put in proper place. They wanted the traditional social service providers to do it. But who trusts the traditional social service?
Yeah.
Why are people living in the streets? Why are people running away from treatment? Why are people running away from foster care? Why are people running away from their own housing? Why is this happening? Why is gentrification putting people out? These the people that you want us to trust that's been messing with us. I could say other words, been messing with the public all these years, and now you want to revamp and put them back in control of things after they done learned from us. That's absurd, man. That's what Mike Tyson say. That's ludicrous.
Well, maybe Vera should have spent at least another 4-year term.
Yeah, I
Had
think
Vera,
she
had
should
Vera
come
stayed
back.
at another 4-year term, it would have been great. I think Bud would have been a nice piece also too. Bud was cool, but my point is, if it would have been a Vera Bud, I think we might have had something going. You know
Well,
what I'm saying? To a certain
why
degree.
don't we give developers like Homer Williams and Don Mazziotti the opportunity to create something
Well, you got the-
on that scale that they're talking
Okay.
about? Which, true, it won't end houselessness, but it is a concept that has has basis where people can get their needs met from wherever angle they're coming from. If they have no record but they're on the street, they should have the same opportunity as someone who has to go through a treatment program to get some services, or someone who has gotten a judgment against them. They can get services. So why shouldn't someone who is new to the streets or someone who doesn't have a criminal record be able to get supportive services?
Well, talking to the solution piece
So-
of Vera Katz, I'm just saying to you, let's say, because we're talking to the audience here. Maybe they need to sit down with Vera, because she's still a consultant, because the Homer Williams piece, that was part of her administration. Because when she left, those folks were out. The other big guys came in.
This city council.
Yes, a whole different ballgame.
Homer Williams.
Yeah.
Wolf at the knees.
Yeah.
He was ready to go.
He's ready to go. He's ready to go. He's ready to do the job.
And Salzman freaked out.
Yes. Bottom line. Look, we got about 10 minutes. We've got the phone number up there if you guys want to call. I know this is a very difficult call, but don't worry, we won't put your photos out there. And we're not going to put your phone numbers in there.
And I won't come looking
We
for
won't do that. It was 503-673-1826 if you're looking at it. You know, I mean, for quite some time, I've not allowed that to happen. So a lot of folks have just kind of walked away, because the only rationale is that this is not a program where we're trying to promote their program. We're trying to solve something here, which is huge and big. And so hopefully you understand what that's all about. There's a repeat of the show, so hopefully you can look at it. I'm talking to the viewers now, and you can look at it and hopefully comment. It's very easy to comment. You can call your mayor. You call your mayor. I mean, call Joe up. Joe will be more than glad. Just appear. If you appear at the county or the city, he's there. Trust me, he's there. And all you do, just slip him a note. He's slipping a note.
Unless the mayor has thrown me out.
No, he didn't throw you out.
Sometimes he
Again.
throws me out, yes.
Again.
Well, because you were the Navy, right?
We have a special carpet. It's called the Joe carpet.
Was that Joe Carpenter?
And it goes right to
It's
the
not the red
outside door.
carpet,
Yeah.
it's the Joe
But you got to remember, Joe, you're a former military like I am, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
We are former military. And by the way, folks, we're going to do a veterans show next week, and we're going to talk about veterans, no vets left behind, if you will. In fact, I'm still asking the questions, where are the vets?
Yeah.
They won't even give me that number. And boy, we have a program there. It's a mile a minute. I mean, we got something going, if you will. But the bottom line is that the administration right now really don't know. They with all due respect, they don't have the background. Joe, I think was he in the military? Ted?
Was I in the military?
No, Ted Willard.
No, I think
way.
he was counting his money. He was too busy counting.
Tiddlywinks.
Gee, Joe, I thought I was going to get to that. I thought I was going to get him to come here. Oh, go on, Lisa, real quick. Go on, Lisa. Go on. We got about 6 minutes. Talk to us real
Well,
quick.
Right to Survive has an ambassador program.
Ambassador program.
An ambassador
Right
program. Right now. And what we do is we go into different neighborhoods and we have community engagement dialogues.
Okay.
We bring in a panel of houseless experts that are all houseless individuals. That's why they're experts.
Wow.
And then we divide everybody up into different tables to map out their neighborhood, whether they live in Lentz or Powhurst or Mount Tabor or the Pearl, and ask them, how can you envision your community to be supportive of your houseless neighbors? Is it a parcel of land that you know is empty that a tented community or a tiny house community could be on? Is it you don't like to see the trash, or you're worried about needles or something like that?
The crime element.
Where is there a place like a library or a food pantry where people can drop off needles?
Right, okay.
If you know you don't fill your trash bin to the top, have a little sign that you put on your trash bin saying you can put one bag of your garbage on garbage day into my trash.
Okay.
And we all work as a community together to, find ways to live side by side with houseless people.
Where do you meet?
We meet in different neighborhoods.
Where's your next meeting?
Our next meeting will be on 72nd and Southeast Foster at the Mercado.
The Mercado.
Mercado.
What is that, a restaurant or something?
It's a food cart.
A food cart.
Food
What
cart
kind of food-
area.
I got you. Okay. The Americana food cart. Okay.
72nd and Foster, and the next meeting will be on the 7th.
The 7th
The 7th
of November.
of
What time?
November.
What time?
At 6 p.m.
6
to
p.m.
8 p.m.
Okay. Maybe we need to video that, and then we can put that and educate people.
Okay.
Okay.
And at that meeting, we'll decide what neighborhood we're going to be moving into next to have one of these
Oh, that's
community
cool.
dialogues.
Okay. Cool. Well, you can use
I
my
think
format.
we're aiming before the end of the year to do Mount Scott Tabor area.
Okay. Okay. So you got this ongoing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
Joe-
still doing the under the bridge walks.
You doing that
And,
too?
yeah, we doing that
Okay.
also.
And what's the phone number that they can contact you at to kind of I'll talk about some of the
Your
other issues?
phone number.
Okay, 503-839-9992. Again, that's 503-839-9992.
Very, very important. And Joe, I guess you got that. So hopefully you'll share that with Ted, the mayor, next week, and also Deborah. And I'll see you Thursday. I can't
And,
get the Wednesday.
and you invited Ted here, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Well, you'll invite him again.
And,
He's
and one
not
thing,
here.
And one thing I want to say
Real quick.
that people are not the problem. The problem is the problem, and that's
Oh.
what we have to solve.
That's interesting. You took my line.
Did I? Okay.
And Joe told me about it. So you took Joe's line aspect of it. Joe, one last comment, real quick. Give us a comment, real quick. To the mayor. Talk to the mayor.
I've had friends and family come down very hard on the houseless people,
Okay.
and I can never understand that because I think Ibrahim is absolutely right. It's not the people; they are the end result of a whole bunch of decisions
Yes.
that they have nothing to do with. People have made decisions that affect their lives. They're on the street, and as a community, and if you're a religious person, and I'm not, I am spiritual, but I'm telling you, if there is judgment, you better be careful how you deal with this.
Yeah.
Because if I was God, you'd be burning in your ass. And I'm telling the mayor straight out.
Yes, yes.
You know, you're in deep
Dude.
trouble.
Okay.
You have to do something. We lost at least 8 people that we know of last year, and there is no provisions for it this year.
They have no plan.
No plan.
plan.
But-
Where are the warming
But he
buses
says,
that we asked for?
it's a
Nothing.
10. He says it's a 10-year plan.
Well, we're in our
We're in
13th
13th.
year.
Oh.
It's now a 13th year.
Okay. Well, look, this has been great, and in fact, like I said, I've got my vet thing for next week aspect of it, and I'd be willing to share maybe to just talk about vets. You know, again, homelessness aspect of it. If you guys would entertain the idea of coming back, can you?
I can
Can you do
send,
that
I can
possibly?
send Leo Rose here. He's a veteran. He's been by my side. We've been by each other's side for
Okay.
a long
All
time.
right. Well, look, that's it. Thank you very much. Maybe next week?
Thank you.
Fine? Okay. Lisa, it's a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Always a
Okay.
pleasure.
All right, my friend. Joe, I'll see you at City Hall. No, I'll see you at the county.
Yes. I'll be on one of them.
Sounds great. Okay. Have a good one, folks. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Boo.
Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down.